The Pokemon Horizons Celebration event is coming up in Pokemon Go, featuring some brand new Pokemon and some very rare shinies. And by the end of this video, you'll know everything the event has to offer and the best tips to help you make the most of it. So the event runs from April 16th at 10 AM until the 22nd at 8 PM local time. But what exactly does it have to offer? Well, we do have new Pokemon debuts. Tinkertink and its evolutions Tinkertuff and Tinkerton will be making their debut, and you can evolve Tinkertink into Tinkertuff using 25 candy, and then into Tinkerton with 100 candy. More on how good this Pokemon will be later on in the video. We do also have the debut of the new costume Pokemon Florigato wearing a hat with Lico's pin, and it can be shiny as well. For the bonuses, Team Go Rocket will be appearing more frequently. You'll get half hatch distance for eggs placed into incubators during the event, and you'll have an increased chance to encounter shiny Pikachu wearing Cap's hat and shiny Florigato wearing a hat with Lico's pin. Event theme field research will also be available, rewarding Stardust and encounters with Pikachu wearing Cap's hat, and there'll be some event themed Pokestop showcases running throughout the event. There will be a free timed research rewarding XP, Stardust and event themed encounters. You will also have the option to purchase a $5 ticket, and this will get you an incubator, an event themed avatar pose, which is a pretty good one if you are into avatar poses, and you will get some encounters with Tinkertink as well. You can also pick up this ticket from the web store for the same price, and you'll also get an extra 10 Ultra Balls with it, so you may as well buy it on the web store if you're going to buy it. With that said though, what Pokemon feature for this event? Well, in the wild you will be able to encounter Quagsire, Shuckle, Slugma, Nosepass, Snorunt, Sprigatito, Costume Florigato, Fuecoco, Quaxly, Pawmi, and rarely Pikachu wearing Cap's hat. In 7km event eggs will be Elekid, Hatena, Charcadet, and the new Tinkertink. And also after the event ends, Tinkertink will go into 10km eggs instead of 7km eggs, so this event is the best chance to get this Pokemon. For the raids, in 1-star raids will be Pikachu wearing Cap's hat, Chansey, and Rockruff. In 3-star raids will be Charizard, Alolan Muck, Metagross, and Costume Florigato. In 5-star raids will be Blacephalon in the Western Hemisphere and Stakataka in the Eastern Hemisphere up until the 21st at 10 AM, then Cresselia will be taking over. In Mega raids will be Mega Sceptile up until the 21st at 10 AM, where Mega Mawile will then take over. In 5-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Registeel on Saturdays and Sundays only. And in Max battles will be Max Machop, Persimmon, and Phalanx up until the 21st at 6 AM, then Max Squirtle, Krabby, Chansey, and Sobble will be taking over. Also during this event on the 19th between 2 PM and 5 PM local time, G-Max Snorlax will be making its debut in 6-star max battles, but more on that in another video. Worth noting as well that Pikachu wearing Cap's hat encountered during the event will know the charge attack Volt Tackle. And during the event, when taking snapshots of your Pokemon, you may get snapshot photobomb encounters with some of the characters and Pokemon seen in Pokemon Horizons. And if you want to watch the second season of the Pokemon Horizons anime, in the US it will be available on Netflix, and in the UK it will be on BBC iPlayer. Now with that said, which event Pokemon are most worth focusing on? So we do actually have Quagsire in the wild, and this Pokemon is a useful one to catch from the wild in particular because it is strong in the Great League, where having no IV floor will allow it to more easily get PvP IV spreads. It's ranked 50 in the Great League with 0, 15, 14 IVs. It does however want Legacy move Aqua Tail to be at its best, which is only available from Elite Charge TM. So if you have plenty of Charge TMs, it might be worth using them. However, there are better uses for Elite Charge TMs. Slugma will be spawning, and whilst it and its evolution Magcargo are not meta relevant, it will be handy for those of you stuck on page 5 of the Let's Go Meltan special research. Snorunt might be worth picking up if you're looking to get a high IV one, or candy for powering up a Glalie for Mega Evolution, because Mega Glalie is the 11th best Ice type attack with Frost Breath and Avalanche, and it's pretty useful to have if you don't have access to Mega Abomasnow. Sprigatito and Costume Florigato will be spawning, and above all else, I would highly recommend trying to shiny hunt the Costume Florigato because it is a rare costume variant that might not return to the game, especially as it is quite a niche costume referencing the Pokemon Horizons TV show that may never get an event tie-in again in Pokemon Go. So it is generally going to be a lot rarer than something wearing a Christmas hat or a Halloween costume, for example. Not only that, but Meowscarada is the 19th best grass type attacker with Leafage and Legacy move Frenzy Plant. Fuecoco is another notable encounter, with its evolution Skeledirge being a strong Pokemon in Go Battle League. It is ranked 128 in the Great League with 1, 15, 15 IVs. It's ranked 25 in the Ultra League with 0, 15, 15 IVs, and it's ranked 86 in the Master League. Skeledirge doesn't require Legacy move Blast Burn either, so it's quite an accessible Pokemon for Go Battle League. Lastly, for the wild, we do have Cap's Hat Pikachu, and much like the Costume Florigato, I do highly recommend hunting the shiny of this Pokemon because there are no guarantees it will return, with it being a niche tie-in with the Pokemon Horizons anime. I do think it's quite unlikely it will return to the game once the Pokemon Horizons anime finishes. Worth noting, this Pokemon is also in 3-star raids as well if you can't find it in the wild because it is a rare spawn. And speaking of raids, Chansey will be appearing in 1-star raids, and the candy from it could be useful for powering up and unlocking max moves on D-Max Blissey, and also Blissey is the best gym defender. Charizard will be in 3-star raids, and Mega Charizard Y is actually the best fire type attacker in the game, with Fire Spin and Blast Burn as its moveset. It's also a great opportunity to get some candy to power up and unlock max moves for G-Max Charizard if you have it. We also have Metagross in 3-star raids, and this Pokemon is well worth raiding because it is the 3rd best steel type attacker with Bullet Punch and legacy move Meteor Mash. It's also ranked 61 in the Master League and it has a Mega Form coming at some point in the future, so that's one to keep an eye on as well. Max Metagross is also a really good tank and the best steel type attacker for max battles, so getting candy will be helpful for powering up and unlocking max moves on Max Metagross if you have it. And for Blacephalon and Stack Attacker, they will be worth raiding if you're shiny hunting, but if you're raiding just based on meta relevance, Stack Attacker is not meta relevant, but Blacephalon is the 25th best fire type attacker with Incinerate and Mystical Fire, and it's the 18th best ghost type with Astonish and Shadow Ball. So not the most meta relevant Pokemon, but not a bad one to raid, especially as it does have a really nice shiny. Cresselia, however, will be a great one to raid for Go Battle League because it is ranked 29 in the Ultra League with 115-13 IVs, which of course won't be possible to get from these raids because of the 10-10-10 IV floor, but if you wanted to try to get close to the PvP IVs, you could do some mirror trades with a low friendship level friend. But if not, it is still very much usable with less than perfect PvP IVs. And for Mega Sceptile, which can be soloed, it is the best grass type attacker in the game, so well worth raiding if you haven't Mega evolved a Sceptile before. And whilst Mega Mawile doesn't have any meta relevance, it's worth raiding if you haven't Mega evolved one before, firstly for the Mega Dex, but also because it can get you extra candy, Candy XL, and XP for Fairy and Steel types when you Mega evolve it, so it'll be great for an event that features both of these types. And it does happen to be the same typing as the new Tinkerton line that's coming to the game. Tinkerton has a max CP of 2544, attack of 155, defense of 196, and stamina of 198, and it gets access to these fast and charged attacks. These, however, are subject to change before their release, so bear in mind that it could alter a bit. And in terms of meta relevance, it won't be much of a raid attacker, but it will be great for Go Battle League. We also have Elekid in Event Eggs, and Electivire is the 16th best electric type with Thundershock and Wild Charge, and it's the 6th best as a shadow. Hatenna will also be available via these 7km eggs, and whilst not meta relevant at the moment, outside of the fact that it is the 17th best fairy type attacker with Charm and Dazzling Gleam, but Hatterini does have a G-Max form that will come to the game at some point in the future, so getting candy for it will be worth it because it will be the best fairy type for max battles. And whilst Charcadet doesn't have any meta relevance, it does have 2 evolutions, Ceruledge and Armarouge, which you might need candy for to get them for the dex. And getting Charcadet from these eggs will be easier than outside of the events when they're locked to 10km eggs only. And remember, to evolve into Armarouge, you do need to make Charcadet your buddy and beat 30 Psychic type Pokemon, and for Ceruledge you need to do the same but defeat 30 Ghost type Pokemon. For the max battles, Max Machamp is worth picking up because Max Machamp will be the best counter for G-Max Snorlax battles if you plan on doing them on the 19th. When investing in Max Machamp though, do remember it has a G-Max form which is most likely coming to the game in May, which you will want to keep candy for. Max Passimian could also be worth picking up for G-Max Snorlax raids if you haven't got access to Max Machamp. And Max Squirtle will be worth it for the candy for G-Max Blastoise because it's a really good tank, but even if you don't have access to the G-Max form, Max Blastoise itself is a great tank to have, especially as it has access to Bite and Water Gun as fast attacks. And Max Chansey is worth picking up because Max Blissey will be a really strong general healer and tank, especially as it does have access to Pound, so it's overall going to be worth investing in. Max Krabby again will be worth battling for the candy for G-Max Kingler if you have it, because it is the best water type attacker for max battles so far. Max Sobble could also be an option because Max Inteleon is actually a really decent budget water type attacker, and when G-Max Inteleon comes to the game, it will be the best water type for max battles. Now you will want candy to power up Pokemon you choose to focus on for the event, and I will be getting into how you can maximize on this candy, but first, what are the best counters for the raid Pokemon? So starting with Cresselia, it does have a raid CP of 33,794, and 100% IVs are 1633 and 2041 boosted in windy weather. It's a pure psychic type, therefore it is weak to bug, dark, and ghost type attacks. The best counters are Dawnwing's Necrozma, Mega Gengar, Mega Absol, Mega Tyranitar, Shadow Tyranitar, Shadow Chandelure, Mega Houndoom, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Banette, and Shadow Mewtwo. And for budget counters which are generally easier to obtain and to power up, I would recommend Tyranitar, Hydreigon, Chandelure, Absol, Incineroar, and Weavile. This raid can be duoed with the best counters at high levels, but I would recommend 3+ trainers and partying up. And also Cresselia will be a possible encounter from Go Battle League win rewards if you are ranked 20 or higher. For Mega Mawile, it does have a raid CP of 29,333, and 100% IVs for Mawile are 934 and 1167 boosted in snowy and cloudy weather. Mega Mawile is a steel and fairy type, therefore it is weak to ground and fire type attacks. The best counters are Primal Groudon, Mega Blaziken, Mega Charizard Y, Shadow Heatran, Shadow Chandelure, Shadow Groudon, Reshiram, Mega Garchomp, Shadow Darmanitan, and Shadow Moltres. And for budget counters, I would recommend Chandelure, Delphox, Blaziken, Darmanitan, Emboar, and Excadrill. This raid can actually be soloed with the best counters at high levels, and it is worth noting it will require 200 Mega Energy to Mega Evolve a Mawile for the first time, which will be obtainable from 1 or 2 raids depending on how quickly you beat the raid. Once you have Mega Evolved a Mawile for the first time, you can then walk any of your Mawile as your buddy to get more Mega Energy. And with that said, how can you maximize on candy for this event? Well, you can always use Pinap Berries to boost candy gains when catching Pokemon, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that shares a type with a Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of Candy XL, and XP you get per catch. However, there are quite a lot of different types spawning for this event, so there isn't a specific Mega Evolution that's going to cover all of them, so it depends on really what you want candy for. But as a recommendation, I would recommend going with Primal Groudon because you can get more candy for Quagsire, Sprigatito, Florigato, Fuecoco, and Charizard, which all have some meta relevance. And remember to Mega Evolve whichever Pokemon you have at the max Mega level to get more Candy, XP, and a chance for Candy XL. It's also worth noting you do get a guaranteed XL Candy per trade this season because of the seasonal bonus, so a great time to be trading and working on your Platinum Gentleman and Pilot medals. And if you're going to do any 5-star raids, I would recommend doing so during Raid Hour, because you will get a guaranteed Rare Candy XL for each raid completed during Raid Hour. And if you didn't know, Rare Candy XL can be turned into XL Candy for any Pokemon of your choice, so a very important item to have. And this is probably the most accessible it's been in the game so far. And doing these raids will also help you with your Rising Star and Battle Legend medals. And during this event in particular, we have Raid Hours for Bucephalon and Stakataka on the 16th at 6 PM. And the Cresselia Raid Hour is the day after the event ends, taking place on the 23rd at 6 PM. You will also be able to get more candy by increasing the amount of Pokemon you catch in a given time. So methods like quick catching, having catch assist from your buddy, and utilizing Origin Palkia's Spatial Rend Adventure effect to increase the encounter radius can all help you get more catches. Now, to go along with the candy for your Pokemon of choice, you are also going to want Stardust to power them up. And luckily, there is a way you can get a lot of Stardust from a small event that takes place during this Pokemon Horizons event. So on the 22nd at 6 PM will be Morelull Spotlight Hour, and the bonus will be 2 times catch Stardust. But not only that, Morelull itself is a Stardust boosted Pokemon, meaning that it gives more Stardust than the regular Pokemon when caught. So instead of 100 Stardust per catch, it gives 500, meaning that during this event it will give 1000 Stardust per catch, which will be 1500 with a star piece and more if you happen to be playing in sunny or cloudy weather. So this is an event I would highly recommend using your star pieces on if you've got any. And if you can't get out and play this event, it could be a good idea to use a star piece and go through your field research stack to see if you have any other Stardust boosted Pokemon that you could be catching. And if you can't actively play during this time because you're working or driving, for example, it's worth putting on an auto catcher if you have one to pick up some of these catches. You could also use Black Kyurem's Free Shock Adventure effect to increase the catch rate of Pokemon from the auto catcher by 25%, or even better, you could use White Kyurem's Ice Burn effect to get a 50% catch rate increase. Now, with the bonuses for the event, they could help you progress Platinum medals that you will need 35 of if you want to eventually get to level 50. So Team Go Rocket will be appearing more frequently, so it's a good time to work on your Platinum Hero and Purifier medals. With a 7km event eggs featuring the new Tinkertink and the half hatch distance bonus, it's a good chance to work on your Breeder medal. And doing your snapshot encounters each day will help you with your Cameraman medal, and Pokestop showcases will be available that will get you some XP and Stardust just for taking part. And if you happen to win, you can get some premium items, and it'll also progress your Showcase Star medal that will eventually get you an encounter with PhD Pikachu. With that said though, if you do want to know what else is going on in April in Pokemon Go, then I recommend checking out this video on the screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.